So today we're going to talk about the importance of onboarding new employees. It helps you scale your business. What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Hot Take. I'm your host of BatchTV, Jesse Burrell, and this is where we talk everything real estate, from wholesaling, fix and flipping, rentals, and everything in between. Right, guys, today I have a very special guest, my business partner, Anny Draginova. What is going on?
Honestly, not much. I'm a little bit shy to be here, but you kind of forced me to get on camera, so we're here.
Well, I had to force you because you've been such a big part of, being my business partner, and you're so good at integrating and creating systems and processes. I really wanted you on so we could dive in and add some value to some other people. So before we get started, how long have you been in real estate for? And then roughly, what are we doing? You could talk about, some multifamily projects we got going on.
Yeah, so I've been doing real estate since 2009, I want to say. Somewhere around there. It was right out of high school that I actually jumped into business with my brother, Evo. From then on, we kind of did fix and flips, wholesale. We did some new development projects, just a few here and there. And then besides that, or I guess after that, we got into the whole software and providing tools for other investors to be successful in their businesses.
Right. And, that's what we do. And that's why, I've made this channel is we have all these tools and softwares to help people get more deals, which is super exciting. But I want to talk about, when we were owning a wholesale and running our wholesale operation at the time, I think you could add a lot of value with all the stuff that we did, because I'm definitely more visionary, sales oriented, and having yourself and your brother, who both are more integrator type people, is, I never put a system or process down, even on a piece of paper, let alone anything. And bringing you guys to work together, it definitely changed, how we're able to scale quickly.
You're a visionary. I'm an integrator. And naturally, what comes natural to me is creating a process and making sure that I follow it from the beginning to the end, and making sure that whoever is picking it up after me, that they know what they're doing. The reason I think that I'm able to put so many processes together is, and to be honest, is because I don't want to do it. Right. I'm trying to figure out how can someone else do the work that I'm doing and do it better than I'm doing, because they're going to be giving their 100%. So I think one of our strong suits when we partnered up was the fact that you were lacking that portion of your business, but we were lacking a lot of other things that you were able to bring in as a visionary.
Right.
So when we started making these processes, I want to say
a couple of years ago, our business completely transformed. We went from doing individually, right? It was two separate businesses. We were doing from roughly 10 deals a month. We went up to, I believe it was 20s. I think we were a little bit above that. At one point, we had roughly 30. When we went to, I don't know if you remember, when we went to San Diego, we had 35 deals on the board. Wow.
So I think that's what was great. It was because we were able to create those processes together. Right.
So let's actually dive into that, because I think one of the most important things, I don't care if you're hiring your first VA or you're scaling your team. If you want to learn more about hiring VAs, watch this video with Cody Barton. I think the most important thing, or one of the most important things, is actually having an onboarding process for when someone gets hired, to where you could get them to making money for the company and themselves very quickly. So tell me a little bit about how important that is and what someone should do to get started.
All right. So to get started, I would say do and record everything that you do, actually. From logging into whatever platform you're using, from logging into absolutely everything you're doing within it. From then on, you have to figure out what is actually the process that it takes. Whether you're creating a process or a checklist altogether, you need to be able to create a repeatable process.
Right.
So you log in. After you log in, what do you do? So you record all these things and you create a day-by-day calendar of what that new hire is going to be doing. And then you start breaking it down into positions. You have your acquisition manager. You have your leads
manager. You have
dispo.
You have your disposition. So let's just talk with those and some VAs. But let's just talk about. So like we used Draginova.
Yep.
But what people don't understand is, like, it takes a lot of time to do this. But once you do it, all you're doing is tweaking it for future hires, and the employees that are working for you, they're going to give you feedback and be like, hey, this would be better if we did this or if we did that. Yeah. You're just starting with the baseline. That's how everything is in business. And then you're just building off of that. And I think it's so important having, if you're doing a 2-week onboarding, every hour from Monday through Friday, for who they're training with, what video are they watching, what are they learning, what are they doing. You were so good at doing that. It took you forever, but every single successful wholesale company I know, they all have this in common.
And for those that are potentially might not want to get a Trainio account, that's completely fine, because it is costing money. But there's Google Sites, actually. It was what we originally used to have. I don't know if you remember. And you can break it down into specific job roles, and which is what we did. It was, what does everyone need to know about wholesale? What is wholesale in general? That is how we broke our onboarding. It was, what is wholesaling? What do you need to know? What are different terms that are using? Yeah. Because these are terms you're using between all job positions. It's acquisitions, lead manager, VAs, whoever it may be, right?
They all need to have an understanding of what they're doing or the business they're in. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone needs to know the basics. And from then on, you go into job specific training.
Yep.
And that's, for us, at least, it was week 2. The first week, honestly, was the easiest week for us to create, because you have so much content out there. You have so many YouTube videos that you can actually plug in, contracts that you're actually using, and maybe even just doing a video walkthrough of your current CRM that you're using.
Right.
And from then on, you started doing the job specific things. Right now, I know we're not doing wholesale, but it takes us 2 weeks to onboard. I haven't touched that onboarding in forever now, because now I've onboarded people. I've taught people how to do the onboarding.
Now it's a manager's jobs to tweak it and to make it better for their teams.
Correct. And if it wasn't from us starting from this like Google Sheets or Google Sites, we wouldn't be where we're at today, right?
What people don't understand is, if you put in the upfront work, then you're able to actually scale something. You're actually able to have your time to go work on the next thing. And I mean, you even do it to me, is like, you'll send me a training and I'm like, I asked you for a reason. You're like, well, too bad. And I'm like, so, and you're training people not to go to you. Like, I know what your end goal is. You're just like, don't bother me. But sometimes I just want to bother you. You know, I need attention sometimes.
So it's not don't bother me. It's like, I've done it. Let's get bothered about something else that hasn't been already resolved.
I could do that
too. So that's the thing that for me, it's like, if I've done it, if there's training, I'm not redoing it.
No.
And it's, I think, for at least for managers now, they're seeing it. Our managers, for instance, are seeing it, that once you create this process, because it is a lot of time up front, you're not wanting to go back and redo it. Yeah. So that's why, again, I'm like, watch it. Here's videos, and I'm just pushing content to people.
Well, I think a lot of it too is we're training to hold our team accountable. We don't want to have our team come to us when we've already taught it to them, or they've already learned it to where they could go find it. You're teaching them to be proactive and not just don't be lazy. Like, you've been taught this, or you could go find it. Coming to us and wasting our time, that's not effectively going to help us grow our business. And we want people that are critically thinking. Those are the type of people that help impact a business.
Yeah. So it was actually, I just recently watched a podcast for Raphael was doing, and he said, one of the most important things that I say to my kids is go figure it out.
Right.
And I was like, at this point, like, this stuck with me. So I'm like, from now on, when you hear me say go figure it out, like, you can text Rafa and tell him thank you, because that's where I picked it up from.
Lovely.
But it's not to be like he said in his interview, it wasn't for him to be about it. It was for him to be like, here, like, go solve this problem. If you can't, I'm there to support you, right? Because you're going to come back to me.
Right.
And same thing with the processes. Like, if you can't figure it out at the end of the day, once I've given you everything,
then either we're missing something or there was a miscommunication.
Yeah. So it is what it is at the end of the day. But again, you have to have a process. You have to have a set procedure of what it is. And I think we talked about it earlier today. One of the main things, at least in wholesale, I ran into was, I can't create a process for this because there's so many what ifs. Right. So we talked about this, and if we can't create a process around this, then how are other industries creating process and checklists, right? I mentioned a book that I was reading, and it went into actually doctors, how they have a checklist, how engineers that are building skyscrapers, how they have checklists. If those people can have a checklist, you can too as a wholesaler.
I agree.
Right? So it's not that far off.
There's always a gray area.
Yep.
There always is.
Yep.
Nothing has to be totally defined, but there still could be a checklist and there still could be the best way possible at that point in your journey on what you could do. So I absolutely love this hot take. This is not the most exciting one, but this is actually the most important one to scale your business, especially when you're hiring new people. You don't want to sit there every single time and spend 2 weeks of all of your time, put together a process to onboard them. It's going to save your time. It's going to help you be able to grow. So before we go, how does someone get a hold of you on social? And just give me one gold nugget. It could be anything entrepreneurship related.
So to get a hold of me, reach out to Jesse. He will relay any important information to me. But all jokes aside, it's Anny Draginova. It's on Instagram and Facebook. I don't have a TikTok. Jesse has one, so follow him. But a golden nugget, start early to create processes. Start recording what you're doing from day one. And kind of just to sum up, like one of my favorite quotes, I guess you would say, or mantras is nothing changes if nothing changes, right?
Yeah.
So you want to build the team, you want to build a process, you want to build a culture, whatever it may be, you need to start somewhere. So start recording, start getting the right butts in the right seats.
Right.
And then from then on, just start creating a bigger, better business, I guess, at that point.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on and walking all the way down the hall to finally come on the hot take. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for forcing me, and thank you for putting it on my calendar because it wouldn't have happened.
Thank you so much for joining another episode of the Hot Take. Make sure to like, subscribe, check out our giveaway, and until next time, let's get it. Check out these other videos right here. Follow me on social media.